Hello and welcome to the Armory. I'm Archaic and with me today is Glitched. How's life going this week, Glitched?
Life is doing well, sir. I started a new job, and so things are going well.
Yeah, that's good. Jobs keep us gaming.
Hmm. Exactly.
um, so as always, Glitched, how did practice go this week? If you were to pick one thing you did well this week, what would it be?
Practice went really well this week, actually. I had a good week overall. Played a lot in the last couple days. I've got about 12 games behind me so far. Um, what I did well in the last week, um, I would say keeping my money down as per usual is one thing that I do well. Out of the ordinary, I've got a new build that I'm trying out, and I've got that down pretty solid, so that's really nice.
Good. And I guess last week we really wanted you to focus on supply depots. How do you think you went before we actually take a look? How do you think you did?
I think I did good. I
Okay,
think.
okay, we'll get to it in a second. So,
Okay.
what is something you noticed as you played on the ladder that needs to be the focus for this next week? Anything specific?
Mm, no, I don't know.
That was my fake drum roll. I don't know if you heard that. Okay, well, I definitely have something for you. So,
Good, because this is where I need help. Sometimes I'm not exactly too sure what to focus on. So,
okay. So let's go ahead and look at this week's stats. Oh, I forgot to give them to you again. Oh, I was gonna do this, and I didn't. So I'll just read through them really quick for you, and so that the viewers can hear me a little longer. So your matchups, you actually didn't, or no, never mind. Sorry. Your TVT, 75% win rate.
yes,
Oh yeah, that's 3-1. So you kind of smashed some faces in with your Terran
guys.
vs Terran.
Yeah. We should note that this is pre-Hellbat patch too,
Okay.
right?
So you built some Hellbats and you won some games. It's good.
Yep.
It's good. I think a lot of Terrans did that.
Yep. Up until the
um,
patch, everybody was doing it. But
Terran
yeah.
versus Protoss, you're sitting at a healthy 67%, so 2-1.
Hmm.
So that's great. And then TVZ, sadly, you did not win a game.
Nope.
0-2, baby.
Weakest matchup.
That's okay. I think it's my weakest matchup right now, too.
Weird like that, right?
Do you have um, any idea why that would be? Why Terran vs Zerg is your weakest?
Um, I don't play them a lot, to be totally honest. They are by far the matchup that I play the least. Um, I play it's usually TVT on ladder for
Yeah,
the most part,
yeah.
and with some Protoss tossed in there, right? You don't see Zerg very often at all.
Interesting. I'm sure you'll see a lot more as you go up the ladder.
Hmm.
There's a lot of little Zergs sitting at I think like Platinum Diamond. Oh man,
Good.
so many Zergs. Okay, your time supply blocked this week. So last week you were 2:23, I think, 2 minutes and 23 seconds.
Yeah.
This week you were 1 minute and 36 seconds.
Oh yeah.
So that's a pretty significant improvement. If we Yeah, I'll get to that. Your unspent resources were 808. Last week
Little
it was
high.
784. So that's right around the same ballpark.
Hmm.
Considering your game length, last week was 17 minutes, this week was 18 minutes.
Okay.
And for all the viewers out there, I do have his stream there. So if you ever want to check out Glitched, his stream, Twitch TV/glitched with a 7 instead of a T. So definitely you guys can
Yep.
check that out.
I'm cool like that.
Yeah. If you ever want to see him playing around on the ladder during the week.
It's fun times. We hang out and, swap strategies and stuff, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm sure that you would be happy to talk to them.
Hmm.
So if we start with what I addressed last week as the area to focus, we see a drastic change. Your time supply block dropped from 223 to 136. If we compare those numbers to your average game length, last week you were supply blocked for 15% of the game. That's what I said last week. This week it was only 9%.
Cool.
So that's good. That's a good improvement. That's something
Yep.
we wanted you to work on. You did work on, and it's good. It's really good. So it's one thing to identify the problems, to understand poor play, but it's an entirely another thing to start the process to recovery.
Yeah, for sure.
So we've identified the issue, and we're improving it. That's what we're here for. It's good. It's good. So mechanically speaking, we still have some distance to cover. I've said this to Zavel, and I'll say it to you. Mechanics is a choice every single game. It's a choice to either focus on what will improve you over the long term, or to get you some insignificant ladder win. So I'm not saying addressing your macro mechanics won't win you games, but I am saying that mechanics need to be your first priority as you approach the game.
Yep.
So keep building those supply depots, addressing your economic needs, SCVs and expansions. That is one thing I will note later about your expansions. And then also spending your money. Don't just do it, improve it. We can do better than Nike. Okay, so yeah, obviously I look forward to see your numbers next week, as we've already seen progress, and that's good. Really good. So, last thing, many of the games I watched, I noticed some trends.
Okay.
The way you opened was very consistent. And this is something I think I mentioned last week, but you're incredibly consistent with your builds, I guess you'd say.
Yep.
And that's really cool. That's, I think, pretty important as a Terran, maybe less so as Zerg, but Terran is really build dependent. So
Yeah. On that note, I've got one per matchup, except for the I use the same one for Protoss and Zerg for the time being.
Okay.
Until I figure something out for Zerg.
And so you're either opening up a single Reaper in your Terran vs Protoss and your Terran vs Zerg. So that's what we saw this week. And then with Terran vs Terran, you were opening up your Hellbat drop.
Yeah.
Now that it's officially nerfed, right? Did the patch come out?
Yeah, it came out 2 days ago, I think, officially.
Do you have any ideas of what you're going to be doing now in Terran vs Terran that you want to share with us?
What was I doing the last couple days? The last couple days I have been doing, give me a quick second.
No problem.
I've been doing Banshee harasses, early cloaked Banshees, and taking advantage of that low gas need for the cloak and using that. And for TVT, it's working out really, really well.
Good, good. Just a quick question: if I were to ask you, your Reaper opening compared to your Hellbat opening, what do you think is more stable?
The Reaper opening is really, really solid macro-wise because you send out the Reaper to get some scouting information, and then other than that, you're just pretty much building up forces and then doing a timing, right?
Right.
With the Hellbat, there's more of the macro build. There's more of the micro integration in there as well with the Hellbats in the base.
Right.
So, for solidity, it's really good for the Reaper is for sure, but the Hellbat one is nice to start building that skill of getting away from looking at that main and the natural and going out and doing other stuff too, right? And building that micro skill as well.
Right. And the really cool thing I watched with your Reaper games were you were scouting pretty much everything. So you knew what your opponent was capable of.
Yep.
And that's a really good next step from where you're at before this, is you're seeing what your opponent's doing. So now you just need to know what to do against what your opponent's doing.
Exactly.
That's the next step. So
that Reaper is not for damage at this point. It is, maybe eventually I'll use it to do some damage, take out some workers or something, but right now it is just to look around and get out, and that's about it. So.
And that's really cool. And if you keep that alive, you can always jump back in the base
Mhm.
and do other things with it, control a watchtower, something like that. Um, yeah, I think in your Terran vs Protoss, you were doing this really big two base timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, this is really cool because as you were pushing out, I think in most of your games, I won't say all of your games, but in most of your games, you were dropping a command center as you moved out.
Yep.
And that's something we talked about last week was as you move out to do these timings, dropping that expansion will really allow you to move on to the next stage of the game.
Totally.
So this like drastic. So the trading your army for your opponent's army while taking expansion is really really cool, and that's something we talked about last week. And I just want to emphasize that point. Expand while you're attacking is really good for all you viewers out there.
Mm.
That is what we call stable play.
Yep.
It's a way to control your opponent because if you put on aggression, your opponent's going to be defensive, and by doing so, you get that expansion, which is
Yep.
really cool. Um, any quick questions, comments?
Um. Nope. Not about those that stuff yet. No.
So we're going to take a look at a Terran vs Protoss on Belshire Beach. Um, we'll be right back, guys, for
Yay.
part 2 of the replay analysis. Thanks for watching.